part of the problem we talk about, like, leadership styles, leadership formats, is we don't always, say, okay, well, I understand there's these philosophies, but what does that mean on a daily basis? And that is an excellent question. So I think I'll first kind of do a quick recap of our framework for integrity leadership, and then I'll talk about the framework kind of in general. But so integrity leadership is the framework that we use, and it's really, it has about 5 domains. So the first domain is reliable respect, where you're talking to people, where people know they can always consistently come to you, and that your response will always be respectful, that they can always rely on you, on having a respectful interaction with you, kind of regardless of what's happening kind of around them. The next is moral courage. This is about having the courage to do the right thing, even if it's not the most popular thing, or even if it's not the easy thing. There's honest acknowledgement, which is about acknowledging the contributions of others, but also acknowledging the validity of other views or other arguments that you may not agree with. There's trustworthy influence, which is how you kind of manage the authority that's been provided to you as a leader or as a manager. Like, what do you do with the power that's been bestowed upon you, and how do you use it? And then the last one is empowering others. How do you make your efforts about improving the work and the abilities of others? So those 5 domains are kind of what make up the process of integrity leadership, and how they're used kind of in training, and how they're kind of used in broad understanding is kind of one thing. But the real question is, how do you use it on a daily basis? So we talk about it as the idea of a framework, because within those five domains, we talk about kind of what is it that you can do when pressed with a hard decision, or faced in a difficult situation. What is it that you can do with those 5 domains to actually help guide how you make decisions, but also kind of help guide how you want to handle the difficult decisions that will come from them?
Yeah, and what I like about the framework and the way that we use it, the way that we talk with, when we're doing our training and, teaching people how to use this framework, oftentimes we talk about it. The easiest way to make it directly applicable in the moment is through reflective questions. Right. So when we're presented with a choice, with a difficult choice around, what we need to do as a leader, what path are we going to go down? The idea is, it probably relates very closely to the idea of moral courage. Am I making decisions based on what's going to be best for me? Am I making decisions based on what's going to be popular so that I don't get pushback about it? Or am I looking to make am I having to find a justification for the decision that I'm trying to make? And I think that last one is a really big point we end up talking about a lot, because oftentimes, if you are searching for a justification to support your actions, you probably have made a misstep.
Yeah.
If you have to seek justification for what you're doing,
Yeah.
You are going through the process of trying to find a reason to do what you want to do, rather than necessarily looking at what is the right choice here. What is going to actually accomplish the goals? It's really important to understand, though, that justifications, if you're seeking them out to justify your actions, that to me is at best, it's a yellow flag, a cautionary flag of, am I actually operating with moral courage, or am I just looking to do what's best or easiest for me?
Yeah, and I think that a good way to, like, a good example of that is sometimes when we're in a leadership position, we're being kind of expected to do something that will be a large amount of work, that will probably yield very little outcomes, because the optics of it.
Mhm.
So, we may be like, well, I expect, and that's all going to fall onto your team. So the expectation is for you to just agree to do it because that's going to be the popular decision, and then go and then, burn your team out to do something that's going to end up having very little results. The right thing to do would probably be to identify that's not going to be practical, good use of time, and almost like, and make the case, ideally the business case, for why that's not a good use of your time, even though you're going to get some pushback and it's going to be an unpopular decision. But standing your ground and not burning your team out just to appease someone and for good optics, that does require moral courage.
Yeah. And we're not saying this is easy. If it was easy, then it wouldn't require courage, would it?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, another one is with honest acknowledgement. And is the idea, sometimes with honest acknowledgement, you hear ideas that disagree with yours, or you have a plan in your mind and someone provides a counter plan or counter opinion, and it's really easy to dismiss something that we don't necessarily agree with. But part of honest acknowledgement is recognizing that there may be validity in ideas despite the fact that they're not yours, or that they're not in line with what you're thinking. So the question that we often use with this one is there value in this idea despite my disagreement to it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that, if you're, hearing an idea and you don't, not to outright dismiss it, but actually go, okay, there's something there. I see where they're coming from. I still don't necessarily agree with it, but I can acknowledge that, yes, there's some validity to it. Maybe there might be an opportunity to adjust my thinking. But maybe it's a matter of just kind of understanding why even though there's some good reasons to do something different, why I want to continue with the path that we're on right now.
And this honest acknowledgement can be a huge component to building psychological safety within your team as well. If you don't need, if somebody's coming to you with an idea, if a team member is coming to you with a new idea or a way of doing things, if you shut that down, you're only teaching people that not to bother to come to you with new ideas, because once you have made your decision, you don't look at any other options.